Okay, so now we've got a volunteer who runs up and says, I'm trying to find my husband, John Smith. Have you seen him? Now we know why the paperwork is so important. So what do you say? Oh, he's been assigned to search and rescue team green. Well, where's that? Well, you know exactly where it is because it's on the map. It's going to keep track of the whole time. So eventually you can get the word back. You can send a runner quietly to go take a look and say, looks like he's on the green team and he's located here. Okay, great, thanks. But that's one of the scenarios. Or my child, this boy, of course, is going to get signed in because, either at the child care center or at medical to let them know there's a medical form for how to keep track of all of your patients and, when they've been checked on what are their injuries. There's forms. Paperwork is just, it's going to save you, really, it does. It's just a pain. Okay, so now 3 hours have gone by and the volunteers are getting hungry. You're thinking about replacements for the people because they've been here the whole time. You think 3 hours is probably pretty stressful? Yeah, they've been running on adrenaline the whole time, right? So they're going to crash here pretty soon, even though they say, hey, feel fine. So now we've just generated a new problem, right? So the commander's back here. And they're saying, my stomach's growling a little bit. Man, it's been 3 hours already. Wow. So now we've got to start thinking about replacements. So now we go back to the volunteers. We may end up trading jobs. That may be just as good. Bring someone from a non-stressful job maybe to a more stressful job. And whenever that happens, what's critical about the two people? They talk. They communicate. This is what's happened. This is what's an open item. This is a closed item. This is what I've got going on to make sure that that information is passed. Okay. All right, so this one's near and dear to my heart. The green team reports on the radio. Delcal, green team.
Green team, Delcal, go ahead.
Green team is reporting a helicopter landing in the baseball field in Ohlone Park near 1500 Delaware.
Copy that, helicopter landing in Ohlone field.
Roger.
Okay.
What is that?
President.
Well, it might be Obama landing, to assess the FEMA needs. Okay, so we're back here in the command section. We're trying to think of, okay, why would a helicopter land here? Well, it's a nice open space, and we have very, very few in an urban environment. So what good or bad could potentially come of this? Good in particular. What could this be? Transportation. This might be a helicopter coming in, able to take out your most seriously wounded. What else might they be bringing in? Supplies. And if they're not bringing in supplies, you've got a giant list of stuff that you need because you've been in communication with your medical and everybody else, and you say, we need this. And the next time they come back to pick up 2 more wounded or however many they can carry, you get this giant box of supplies. And now you can help the 100 people that just came out of the bar tools. Yes, ma'am?
The question that was prompted by the earlier with the child and the parents. How does this tie in with the emergency shelters? Like our Northbridge Church, they were trying to get that as a secondary shelter, and there's one over at the Martin Luther King.
Right. The question is about emergency shelters. And the main problem is time. Because probably the minimum amount of time it will take to set one up is 3 days. Absolute minimum. Probably 7. Okay? So when we talk about the have your basic food and water for 3 days, that's the wishful thinking phase, right? Because it's probably going to be closer to 7, depending upon the interstate status, roads, how much was destroyed. So, yeah, shelters are going to be a while. You're going to kind of have some sort of temporary shelters, people living with each other, essentially. So, Joe's house is completely destroyed, so his family moved in with Jane and her family. You live on you do what you can. It's essentially it, Yes?
Of course, everybody knows this, but it's really important to have 7 days supply of water because pipes are going to break and it's going to be contaminated.
Yeah, we talked about that at the very beginning, about turning off your utilities, because then your hot water heater is a pure source of water. And then, of course, if you're keeping water in a 55-gallon drum, like a lot of people do, or other sort of 5-gallon containers or whatever, some sort of storage. Yes?
You gave one scenario for the down power lines, but if anyone here has taken the PG&E responder course, that was a major feature of what to do and how to assume that all lines down are hot lines.
Yes.
And
I
then
will
there
repeat
is
that.
there is a walk around that area that you can't just go near it. You have to go way around it. And so just doing a little bit of yellow tape may not do it at all. If it's offered again, please.
So I'll summarize that. It's the PG&E emphasizes that every wire down is live. Treat it as such, even though it's not moving, it's not sparking, it's not making any noise, and it looks like it's the cable line. Well, in a disaster, I mean, in a fire, a Berkeley firefighter was killed when he picked up a cable line to move it out of the way because it had crossed with an electrical line upstream. So that is exactly why every line is live. Just assume it and treat it that way and give that big 50 to 100 feet, if you can, berth around it and put that caution tape or rope or something to tell people not to go there.
And also for evacuating Berkeley on the roads, it is likely that in a very serious earthquake that most of our lines will be down, which means there are no safe roads to drive on.
Right. And that's important. One of the things that the commander is doing back here, he or she has a lot of forms to fill out. And one of them is a fire department report. And that is for how many dead people, how many collapsed houses, how many people are without housing, how many injured, what kind of injured, what supplies do we need, what is the status of the utilities? Do you have any down power lines or gas going or whatever? And you're going to run this to the fire station, every couple of hours as things change. And then also there's that point when, and so that's what the clipboard is for, so that the commander can keep track. The fire department is going to try to visit all of these neighborhood groups. They said that once the fires are out and under control, now they're going to go look for the survivors and try to help out what they can. They want to know, what do you need? They only have a minute to spend with you, so you better have everything in a row on a clipboard somewhere. You can say, here's what we need, and tell them, we've got this guy trapped in this house and we can't get him out because it's too hard for us. The house is too destroyed and we don't feel safe going in. And they know that they need to bring their equipment and urban search and rescue and etc. So that kind of thing. Okay, we have one more scenario. Hopefully we have enough tape for this. Okay, so we got another radio call coming in. Del Cal, Green Team. Actually, let's do it.